What's up? What's up? Kevin E. here, back with Colton and Haley Kurth. We're talking real estate once again. How are you guys? It's good to have you back.
Yes, sir.
Doing
Thank
good.
you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
So I know last time we discussed a little bit about how you guys met, how you got involved in real estate. Haley, you started it off. Colton, you came in a little bit later. You guys partnered up. You crushed it during the pandemic, and that's how this whole thing sort of came about. But we didn't really get into what Better Together is and what you guys do, who all is involved. And so I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of deep dive into that today
Yeah.
and just sort of get a little more insight of, what's it all about. So who wants to kick that off?
All right. So Better Together, that is our real estate company. So Better Together is focused on property management. So BTRG Property Management is what the Better Together name has kind of turned into, which is really awesome. And Colton actually heads up the property management side of our business.
It's a full-time deal.
Yep. So that's mainly Colton. But like everything, we're doing it together.
Yeah. Yeah, BTRG, primarily we manage property. That is what we do. That's why we exist. When you call the number, you get me. It's me and Haley, and we have a kind of a small team that helps us get all the administrative stuff done, all the data entry, making sure that tenants are kept up with, that owners are kept up with. When we looked around in sort of the industry in our area, we were asking the question, what is missing in this process, right? Like, what is it about the management that people aren't necessarily fond of, right? And how can we sort of position ourselves to capitalize on that?
And what kind of stuff, does that entail, the property management specifically?
So it's the transparency, it's the communication, it's also the fee structure. When you look around, and I went through a bunch of the beginning classes through TREC, the Texas Real Estate Commission, specifically to get that property management designation. And so, or it's residential property manager, RPM, something like that, to become registered through TREC or certified. So when I'm in these classes, I'm hearing these other companies that are there talking, and they're talking about the profit centers and the fee structure. And look, we're in business to make money, right? Like at the end of the day, you have to make money to eat, and that's how this works. Also, we want to provide that quality service. We want our people to feel like they're getting what they're paying for, while not nickel and diming people to death. And so we looked at it and we said, well, why do we need to charge for going to the property to let a vendor in, right? You're already paying me that 10% fee, so why are we doing this? And we took that and just kind of ran with it and made it again ours, and made it very, I think beneficial for everyone involved.
Yeah. And that's what kind of sets us apart. But let's just talk about what property management is.
Yes, and what kind of property specifically?
So property management is, we are owners of properties, have chosen us to watch over, maintain their property as a tenant leases it out.
Okay.
So it is an investment more business. So instead of like listing and selling real estate where we help a buyer purchase a property and then they move in and they live there and they do all that kind of stuff, now we are more like you rent out an apartment, and there's somebody at the front desk that you call when something breaks and all that kind of stuff. We're doing that for other people's real estate investments. And so maybe a client and an owner has 5 properties in Ellis County. And so they don't want to deal with tenants. Tenants kind of suck sometimes. They can be hard to deal with. You bought that investment property because you wanted to make money, not because you wanted to manage people. Well, guess what? Colton does really well. Colton manages people really well. The therapist background comes right into play there. He can talk those
makes perfect
tenants
sense. Yeah.
off the edge. They are like, oh my God, the fan is broken. I'm going to be so hot tonight. How am I going to sleep? And the investor owner is like, I don't know. Who cares, right? But Colton comes in there. He's like, hey, tenant, that sucks. That's awful. That's so hard. We are here to take care of you. He gets it fixed the next day. He's really good at that part. So we are managing of the people, the tenants, the problems, the finance side too. So it's a really robust company, honestly, because it's not just, hey, we're going to put a sign on the yard, we're going to get a tenant in there for you, and then we're going to lease it out. We are watching over your financials, making sure that we're not spending too much money on that property. Maybe this isn't the best investment if we're having to fix something every other day.
Right.
So we're managing that property for that owner. So what's been really cool is some of our past clients that we helped
Yeah.
purchase their first home are now moving up, and we're able to take that first property, turn it into an investment property for them, and Colton takes over the management of it, and they're just collecting that mailbox money every month. We just direct deposit money straight to them, and we take care of all the problems and hassles that come with investment properties.
And what kind of property specifically? You're talking about single unit home?
Yeah,
You're like,
primarily just single family residences. You know, we have a couple of duplexes and like, you know, some of the smaller apartments, like fourplex kind of vibes. We do a lot of that, but it's primarily the single family residence. So, you know, in Midlothian specifically, we have a couple over in Park Place. You know, we have a couple in Kensington and all those different subdivisions because we have great school district there, and so those subdivisions are great investment properties, and so we help our clients take that and capitalize on it.
Well, and I think too, part of that's just been we've grown it the same way we did real estate through the sphere, right? Through the people that we've already been working with that know, like, and trust us. We're building and we're capitalizing on those relationships, and they all own single family residential, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we've also recently started talking to some HOA companies and working on that management for privately run HOAs, and you know, I think it's such a cool experience watching it grow,
Yeah.
watching it change, and I think we've grown it in the right way. You know, we didn't push out a bunch of marketing. We weren't trying to grow really, really fast because in life you only know what you know, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what I don't know. And when you're talking about property management, what I've realized was there's way more that we didn't know.
Yeah.
And everybody says that when you hear them talk, like people who've done it, and they're,
Yeah.
you know, and you go, well, really though? I mean, you just collect money and move on. Turns out that there's a lot that we didn't know. And so as we've grown slowly, we've been able to go, okay, we need a system for
Yeah.
that. And that's why we are better together, because I don't like systems. I kind of just want to do my thing.
I'm not a systems guy either.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
very systems, and
if it doesn't have a spreadsheet, Haley will figure out a way to give it one.
Yes,
and
I
so,
will.
You know, we've got the systems and the processes in place now that we really have. Not that we know everything or have seen everything, certainly not, but to watch it kind of morph into where it is now, that evolution, we now are in a spot where we can start that growth process
Yeah.
to really ramp up the door count, and I think it's exciting.
yeah, it is really exciting.
And what do you guys, I mean, a couple more, you've already touched on a little bit of it. What are you doing kind of different than other people who are sort of doing the same thing with property management companies?
Yeah, I think that's where we are different is because, you know, we do have real estate backgrounds. We are in it. We're in our community that we're serving. So we're very knowledgeable of the type of people that are around. And we didn't want to be the company that was just like, you know, fee. We are small. We are a small business. And so a lot of investors who own multiple properties, they kind of have their own small business too. They have multiple properties that are generating income. So we really try to make it as simple as possible. You know, Colton is the one that's out there, like talking the tenants off the ledge, doing all that kind of stuff. And we really focused on that, just like that 10% management fee, and not every time we talk to you, we're not like a lawyer docking your hours
Right.
all the time. So a lot of companies have a lot of profit centers built in where they're making money off of you at every turn. You know, we went out there, we drove by, there's $10. We drove by, there's $10. You know, we aren't really doing that. We think that that's part of our job in that management, that we are doing all those things. So we're not adding additional charges. So your profit is higher. And that's how we're growing our business, is keeping our owners happy, keeping our tenants happy, keeping as much money in their pocket as possible. That's going to come back to us. We know that's going to help us continue to grow.
Absolutely.
And we see that a lot of people have like a tendency just to go with like a bigger box property management company because it's the easy way. And then those are the ones where it's very cold and personal and you're getting
Yeah.
hit with fees and kind of thing. It's kind of like, because you guys know you're small business people, like a lesson I learned the hard way was using a big bank when you first
Yeah.
start. And they were like, that's one of the biggest mistakes because they don't care about you.
And they don't know you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't care to know you.
Yeah, so we're definitely not the cheapest one in the marketplace. You know, we are not the big national management company that might be the cheapest option. You know, but we're also nowhere close to the most expensive one. You know, so we are kind of right in that middle, and that's what you're getting with us. You're getting the full quality service at a reasonable price that you can afford to grow with us too.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that we've gotten a lot of that. A couple people have gone to like the big guy and been like, you know what, y'all take way better. Like, you know my name, and I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want you to know my property. It doesn't need to be a number to you. You know, like obviously their number because their addresses, but you know, the person's not a number. We know
yeah,
them
but-
and we know what's going on.
But if we're having a conversation, it's you know, Jim called versus 123 Main Street called today, and
Yeah.
this is the issue.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we don't want to lose, right? And I'm sure I know it gets difficult as you get bigger, and you've got to again find
my next
systems
question
and
for
way
you.
to
Yep.
do it right. But I think again, as we're growing, that's forefront of the mind. That's top of mind. That the quality of the service, right, is paramount to everything. Because if the quality of the service is right, that means that the owner's money is situated and correct.
Yeah.
Tenants are happy. Homes are well kept. We're doing our walkthroughs. We're doing all the things that
Yeah.
are supposed to be happening. And it all sort of rolls and grows together. So keeping that in the forefront of the mind, we will figure out a way through that. I mean, right now, if somebody calls, they get me.
Yeah.
And if it's not me, it's her.
Yeah.
And
And whenever I answer, they're like, "What happened, Colton? What's wrong?"
yeah, what's happening?
But yeah, and we also put a lot of technology behind it to keep it as efficient as possible on all parties. So it's really, really easy on the tenant side. If they have a problem, they can pay online, they put their tickets in online. All of that is right there in the mobile app and on their computer. So it's really, really easy on the tenant side. And on the owner side, like I said, we just direct deposit that money straight to you, and they can get in there and see what's going on. So there's that real transparent level there that they know what we're doing all the time, because we put the energy into the systems to make sure that they were operating. So that when a problem arises, we didn't have to figure it out then. It was already in place. Hey, guess what? The tenant called, the AC's not working because it's the middle of August and it's freaking hot because we're in Texas. And so, yeah, you can see right there where we had Ronnie go out and he serviced it, and, they're up and running, and it took a whole, not even a day,
Yeah.
because we've put ourselves in place with our vendors as well, and the people who go out
That
to
was
service the
huge.
property.
That was huge.
Having the right people in place that we can trust, that when we call them, they answer and they know that we're sending them out for something, and it's legitimate. We need you right now. So we've set all those vendors and other business partners set up that when we call, they answer and they take care of us, which is huge.
And because of the service, you probably have better, just because of this relationship, even you're probably getting better tenants just because of that.
Oh, yeah. We have, our tenants have been amazing. And when they see that we're taking care of them, they're staying.
Exactly.
They're
Because you were
not
saying
just
before, tenants can suck.
Yeah.
And so I think they're probably much more likely to be good tenants when they have a good relationship with the property
and
management company.
The last one that just moved out, it was her and her mom that were living there, and the mom had a history in property management, and her before she retired and everything, and so they had to move because they just needed more space because another family member was coming in. They didn't want to leave. It was like it was almost emotional.
Maybe we can find a rental of yours in the future
Yeah.
and come back, and you're like, that's
Yeah,
that's
they
what
didn't
we're
want to
looking
go.
for.
They were like, man, I can't tell you how many times this has happened and no one even cared. Like, no one ever answered. No one ever called us back, or they said, we'll take care of it. And 3 weeks later, it's finally done. And we're thinking, like, if we don't get that done in 24 hours, we're upset.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, we can't promise that every single time, but we always, we try to get it done as quickly as possible, because I don't want to live in a house without AC.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But sometimes
It's an emergency.
It is. It is, especially in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So it was really cool to hear that from the clients, and especially about Colton. Just that no one else. We've been renting, or we've been in other situations, and no one took care of us like that. As the tenant, no one took care of us like that. The owner, they're like, he called to say, hey, just making sure everything's okay. I just keep getting my money. We love it. He doesn't know about any of those late night phone calls because it's not his problem. He pays us to do that.
Sure.
But being able to hear a tenant say back that we really did take care of them,
Well, and
that's
that
huge.
one's huge because that even that same tenant situation, when stuff goes bad, when stuff breaks,
Yeah.
it doesn't break on a Tuesday afternoon around 1:30, right after lunch when everybody's around. It's 11 o'clock
11
at
at
night
night,
on a
yeah.
Saturday, or in this particular case, it was about 9:45 on a Sunday, and we're getting the call that there's water on the floor.
Oh, no,
and-
we're not getting the
well,
call.
yeah, I guess we're not.
Colton was on a boys' trip, so Haley's getting the call, okay?
It was a golf trip, boys trip.
yeah.
I'm coming back from a golf trip, and I get the phone call from her, and she's like, hey, just want to let you know there's water all over the floor. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And what was it, 2 phone calls before before Logic was there? And then the
Yeah.
restoration company.
Yeah, we had the emergency city line out there turning off the water, because I'm also going, we are better together. I'm not the muscle, okay? I can't go out to the water line and get it shut off.
You're the systems person.
Yeah, I'm not the muscle. I'm not the sign guy.
Why-
I'm not the...
Why am I
Yeah.
out here with a wrench, Colton?
Yeah, and I'm going, oh my goodness, but you know what I can do? I can go to Kroger and I can buy a crap ton of water
Yeah.
so that when we do get their water off, they can still use the restroom. They can still do all this stuff. So me and Kinley show up. That's our daughter. She's almost 4 in February. So at the time she was a solid 3 and
Real
a
estate
very
assistant
3. Yeah, she was definitely
extraordinaire.
our real estate assistant. Me and Kinley show up to the tenant's property with all this water because it's off, and I didn't know what else to do besides. You can still live. I brought you water. You can still drink. You can use the restroom, all that kind of stuff, because the plumbers were headed that direction. I didn't know how long it was going to be, but because we spent the time to build those relationships,
Yeah.
they got out there real fast, and we were able to knock it all out. But it was an adventure.
But the tenants definitely had to feel that hands-on dedication. I mean, you don't show up
Oh,
and
yeah.
being like, yeah.
Mhm. And I mean, I called him. I said, "Hey, I'm headed over right now, but just so you know, my daughter's with me because we are family owned and operated, so she's going to be with me. But I'm going to bring you supplies." And oh my goodness, yes. I mean, that's not. I don't think that that's normal. That's our normal. And we run in and gunning, and they did appreciate it a lot.
Well, we just want to take care of people, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to entrust us with as an owner with one of your large assets.
Oh, yeah.
In this case, probably not your largest, but one of them certainly. We want to make sure that that's taken care of. And on the tenant side, you're trusting us to fix stuff when it breaks, to make sure that it is a livable home. I mean, we've had to put people up in hotels. We've had to do all kinds of stuff just to make sure that we're treating people honestly like we want to be treated.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think that's great. I love
Yeah.
that. I love your dedication to the people who are relying
Yeah.
on you, to be there when
Yeah.
you need help. So it's obvious now. I know you guys work really well together, but I want to know. I mean, you guys can't do it all yourself. So I want to know more about the other people you work with, specifically, with Better Together and what.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys even the last 20 minutes since completely flown by. We're totally out of time. So yeah. So we have to tip out. But that's what I want to get to next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let everybody know where they can find you, Colton, Haley, Better Together. Give me your info.
BTRGPM.com.
Yes, and we're on all socials, BTRG Property Management. Follow us, and we'll see you later.
All right. For Colton and Haley Kurth, I'm Kevin E. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.